Welcome back to Easy Cooking. So today I'm going to be showing you how to make another Mexican dish. I'm going to be showing you how to make tamales in banana leaves. They are so delicious. They do take a lot of time, but I promise every minute is worth it because they are so delicious. Remember, you'll find the list of ingredients in the description box of this video, and you will also find it in my blog where you can print the whole recipe. Let's get started. Making tamales is a long process, so I recommend that you prepare the filling the night before. This will make the process much easier. We're going to start by cooking the meat for the filling. I'll be making about 35 tamales with this recipe. It could be more or less depending on the size of the tamales. So I'm going to be needing about 2 or 3 cups of cooked shredded meat for each filling. So we're going to cook the chicken in boiling water, and the water is seasoned with salt. And I also added half an onion and 1 garlic clove. And we're going to cook the chicken until it's well cooked. It will take about 40 minutes to an hour. Once the chicken is done, remove it from the broth and let it cool down to shred it. We're going to reserve the broth because we're going to use it later, and we're going to let the chicken cool down and then we're going to shred it. And just set the chicken aside for a minute. Now to make the sauce, in a saucepan we're going to place the tomatillos together with the jalapenos. We're going to add plenty of water and we're going to cook them on high heat until they are tender. It will take about 20 minutes on high heat. Once they are done, we're going to place them in a blender, and into the blender we will also add in half a cup of water. We will also add in 2 garlic cloves, and we're going to season with salt. We're going to blend this on high until it's well blended. And once the sauce is ready, now in a saucepan we're going to heat up half a tablespoon of lard or vegetable oil, and we're going to add in the green sauce. Give it a stir, and if you think the sauce is too thick, feel free to add more water to thin it out. Then taste the flavor, add more salt if needed. And we're just going to cook this on medium-low heat until it boils. Once it's boiling, set it aside for a minute. So over here I have the chicken is already shredded, and like I said, I'm only using about 3 cups of shredded chicken. So into the chicken I will also add about 1.5 cups of the green sauce. Give it a stir. You can add more sauce if you want to. This depends on how thick or how runny you like the filling. So we're going to mix the chicken with some of the sauce. And now we're going to bring this to a boil so the chicken will absorb all the flavor from the sauce. And once it's boiling, just set it aside to cool down. Now to make the red filling, now we will also cook the pork. And I'm going to cook it in plenty of water. The water is seasoned with salt. And I also added half an onion and 1 garlic clove. And I'm just going to cook the meat until it's well cooked and tender. It will take about 60 to 70 minutes on high heat. Once the meat is done, remove it from the broth and let it cool down and then shred it. To make the sauce, we're going to remove the stems from the dried chilies. Then we're going to tap each chili a little bit to remove some of the seeds. Then place the chilies in a saucepan. And in the same saucepan, we're going to add in the tomatillos, also add in plenty of water. And we're going to cook this on high for about 20 minutes or until they are tender. You can cover this to speed up the cooking process if you want to. Once the tomatillos and the red chilies are ready, now place them in a blender. And into the blender also add in about 2 or 3 garlic cloves. Season this with half a teaspoon of ground cumin, and also add salt to taste, and add half a cup of water. And we're just going to blend this until well blended. Once the sauce is ready, now in a saucepan we're going to heat up half a tablespoon of lard or vegetable oil. And into the saucepan with the oil, we will also strain the red sauce. You want to strain it because you don't want any skin from the dried chilies in the sauce. So after you strain the sauce, if you think the sauce is looking too thick, feel free to add more water to thin it out. Then taste the flavor, and you can add more salt or cumin if you think it's necessary. And we're just going to bring this to a boil on medium-low heat. Once the sauce is boiling, set it aside for a minute. Over here I have the shredded pork, and like I said, I'm only using about 3 cups of the meat. To this I'm going to add about 1.5 cups of the red sauce. Stir until everything is well combined, and then we're going to cook this on low heat until it boils. Once it's boiling, set it aside to cool down. Now to make the tamales, first we're going to prepare the masa or the dough. And for this step, you want to follow the instructions on the Maseca package. I'm only making 4 cups of the masa, which will be enough to make about 30-35 tamales. So according to the instructions on the package, for every 2 cups of masa, you're going to need 1 teaspoon of baking powder and 1 teaspoon of salt. So I'm adding 2 teaspoons of each because I'm using 4 cups of masa. We're going to stir this until well combined. And then after that, we will also add in the chicken broth. And I added 2 cups plus 2/3 of a cup of chicken broth. Stir until everything is well incorporated. And you will see the masa is starting to look more like a dough. It's more solid. It's not just powder anymore. So after the masa is well combined with the chicken broth, now we'll also add in the lard. If you prefer, you can use vegetable oil instead. So according to the instructions on the package, you only need 2/3 of a cup of lard for every 2 cups of masa. Personally, I like my tamales to be super moist and rich with a lot of the lard flavor. That flavor is so unique and amazingly delicious. So I'm going to add another 1/3 of a cup of lard. This step is optional. If you prefer, you can follow the instructions on the package. I'm sure the tamales will be just fine. So in total, I added 1 cup plus 2/3 of a cup of lard. After you add in the lard, now we're going to mix everything together once again. And you want to knead the dough with your hands. You want to feel it. You want to knead it really well. And just do this for a few minutes. You will know the dough is ready when it's nice and smooth and it doesn't have any lumps in it. So once it's ready, just set it aside for a minute. Now we're going to prepare the banana leaves. So first, we're going to cut the banana leaves in squares. And the size depends on the size of the tamales. Mine are going to be big tamales. So I'm going to be cutting them into 15-inch squares. And some brands sell banana leaves that are already clean, cut, and ready to use. But if you get the banana leaves from the produce section, you will need to wash them and you will need to cut them yourself. So once the banana leaves are washed and cut, now we're going to heat them up a little bit. And we'll just hold the banana leaf directly over the heat for a few seconds. And as you can see, it's really quick. I'm just passing the banana leaf over the heat. This will allow the banana leaves to become softer and easier to handle. And you just have to repeat this step with the rest of the banana leaf squares. Now after heating up the banana leaves, there is still a very hard edge on top of the banana leaves. It's about 1/2 inch thick. So we're going to grab some scissors and we're just going to cut it to remove it. This part of the leaf is very stiff, so we have no use for it. If you leave it, you will have some trouble wrapping the tamales, so just remove it. So to make the tamales, now we're going to grab some of the dough, about 2 tablespoons of the dough, and we're going to place it right on the center of the banana leaf. We're going to flatten up the dough a little bit. Just like if you were making a tortilla, you want it to be about 1/4 inch thick. Then, right in the center of the dough, you're going to add some of the filling. Feel free to add as much as you want to. Now, to close the tamal, we're going to bring the sides of the banana leaves together towards the center. And then we're going to fold them down all the way to the bottom until you can feel the dough inside the leaf. Now, use your hands or your fingers to shape the tamal, kind of like in a rectangular shape. After that, now we'll also fold the ends of the banana leaves towards the center. And that's about it. Now you have a rectangular tamal in a banana leaf. And you want to keep the tamales with the folded edges facing down, just to keep them closed. And just keep on repeating these steps until you're done. So remember, we're going to grab about 2 tablespoons of the dough. We're going to place it right on the center of the banana leaf. And then we're going to flatten it up with our hands to about 1/4 inch thick. And then right on the center of the dough, we're going to add in some of the filling. And then to close it, we're going to bring the sides of the banana leaves towards the center. And then we're going to fold them down until we reach the dough. And then with our hands or with our fingers, we're going to shape the tamal into a rectangular shape. And then after that, we're going to bring the ends together towards the center. So just keep on doing this until you're done, and you're going to keep repeating these steps with the green filling and also with the red filling. It's the same steps. So once you have all the tamales ready, now we're going to place them in the steamer. Add plenty of water in your steamer, and then we're going to cook the tamales on high heat for about an hour and a half or until they are well cooked. And just keep an eye on the steamer, you might need to add more water after an hour or so. So after 1.5 hours, this is how they look. I'm going to open one to see if it's cooked. And this is how they look in the inside. I think they are ready. So now I'm going to remove them from the steamer and then you can serve them. And this is how they look. As you can see, they slip right off of the banana leaf. You know they will be good tamales when they don't stick to the leaves at all. And these are going to be amazing. And this is how they look in the inside. I couldn't resist to show you the inside. The filling is so delicious, it's so flavorful. And the masa itself is also so flavorful, so rich and amazing. I really recommend them. I like to serve my tamales with some leftover sauce, green or red, or a little bit of both. Then you can sprinkle them with green onions, and that's about it. They don't need anything else. They are amazing just like they are. The flavor is so delicious. I really recommend them. These are simply amazing. Enjoy. To print these and some other delicious recipes, please don't forget to visit my blog. The link is going to be down below. And remember, you will also find me on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Pinterest. I'm everywhere, so all the links are going to be down below. If you want, you can check them out. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to be notified of future updates. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye!